Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. My name is Paulina and I wanted to share a healing message today. This message is for someone who's dealing with addiction. It's a lot of, when I tune into the energy, I saw like polka dots or like a lot of dots, and it made me think of just a lot of chaos, sort of like a lot of things going on. A lot of different hot spots of energy in your life that maybe need attention. A lot of there's been a lot of experiences that like a lot that have happened that are a result of this addiction that have impacted your body. I think that actually now I'm seeing that those spots were chicken pox. There's a lot of also just instances of addiction that you've had where like you've had like bouts of it, or like you've been to rehab multiple times. I also see the polka dots as like, you know, if you ever like stand up too quickly and you like see like like in cartoons they have like stars, but like you see like floaters or something, or your vision's blurry for a second. Or if it's like really sunny out and the sun's in your eyes. I don't know, I'm light-eyed, so that happens to me sometimes. So this could be like something that affects your vision, this addiction, like literally and figuratively. I don't know what that means, so interpret it as you will. But the guides, your guides are showing a lot of like healing through self inventory and writing, actually. So maybe this is a good time to become addicted to writing. A lot of times people who are in addiction can't transfer that, like it helps to transfer the addiction to something else instead of trying to get rid of the addictive personality. That's why a lot of people become obsessed with exercise. It might be good to look at the underlying need for this substance that you're addicted to, or this thing, or this activity, or this, it could even be a person, or not, yeah, just some addiction here. Because the need is not what you think. It feels like the need right now for you is to feel better. And that's fine, but there's lesser substances that could help you feel better, and there's other ways without substances to feel better. Some people just have like I'm getting that you may have like, maybe you're like premature, or like you were born with like or you had like prenatal trauma. Like some people just are wired, honestly, for addiction when they're born, or even they've done studies, some people who weren't nursed as babies. I'm not saying that that's why, but there's the need for nurturing and comforting, and maybe even just oral fixation that wasn't met. I forget what Freud says about people who are stuck in oral phase. I think it means you're basically like 4 years old forever. But he thinks about the body very symbolically. So like people who can't go to the bathroom, it's like very symbolic of someone who, or like a child who has like bathroom incontinence or issues, for example, would like be someone who is very like stubborn, like a child who doesn't want to move on with the phases of life in some ways. And then like a child who is orally fixated, I think, would be someone who like is too attached. I could be wrong. That may be too broad. I think broadly. I'm sensing that this addiction can be healed, and I think that it's definitely served you, but I think that you'll never know what you're missing if you spend every day in the same state. I think there's people who've been affected by this addiction that you're going through, and your higher self is telling me that you're like afraid of your own gifts, and that you have a lot of talents, a lot of unique skills that other people see. And maybe growing up that was difficult to be singled out and made you afraid of yourself. And not want to, and hate structure. I don't know why that would be the case. Sometimes geniuses become addicts because they don't thrive in society, because it's like hard to put them in a box. But I feel there's someone from your someone who loves you, who's passed on from your upbringings, coming through, and they're saying that like this is just like one of your things that you've been given in life. Like it's like a card that you've been dealt. Like it's a disease, addiction, really, and you have to think of it that way and treat it. They're saying if you don't treat it, it won't. You have to, they're showing me someone with a broken arm and a cast. You have to think of yourself like that. Or like a diabetic, just they have to take their insulin. They have to. So you've been up and down with this, and there were other times where you had it under control and you managed it, and you were like, I'm an addict. And maybe you were going to meetings at that time. And I want you and your guides and your person who's passed on I'm getting like a male presence. They want you to treat this like a disease. And how would you treat someone with a disease? With love, care, and treatment that is hopeful and life-saving. And I think for the next 24 hours after hearing this message, you're probably gonna keep doing what you're doing, but just like maybe writing a list of, in CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, they have a thing called CBT thoughts, where you write your anxious thoughts. It's kind of like the opposite of a gratitude list. You like just write, and the idea is getting them out of your mind, and then you can see them, and later when you're in a better state, you can look at them and say, oh, okay, wow, where's that coming from? Or you could read them aloud in therapy, or you could not look at them. So I think that would actually, specifically that would be very helpful for you. This, for when you're about to use and don't even have the goal of quitting right now, but the awareness, I'm about to use, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? I think that's really going to help you slow down and start to treat this like a disease, and find alternative ways to soothe that feeling that could involve lesser substances. I mean, for example, you could go to a psychiatrist and get a prescribed anxiety medication, or you could become really into yoga, or you could find a community, a recovery community that helps you deal with some of the mental health issues that you're having. So these are just some thoughts. I'm sending you all my love. It seems like I'm a little nonchalant about the subject matter, but really it hits very close to home in my life, with people I've loved dealing with this disease. And I don't want to take it lightly. And this is really meant for you to take stock, to pause at this moment, wherever you're at in your addictive cycle, and just breathe for a minute. Let's breathe. It's okay. Take a deep breath. And we're going to breathe out again. It's okay. No judgment. Life is hard. And we're going to take each day as it comes, one day at a time. And today is a new day. Thich Nhat Hanh says, just for today, I will not poison myself with toxic substances. And just for today, I will not react in anger. I don't know if he was in Al-Anon or what, but just for today, I will treat myself kindly. Have a great day.